見せてあげるよ本当の愛を。
超融合ユベルダスエビヒリベペヒター遊戯王オフィシャルカードゲームデュエルモンスターズファントムナイトメア発売。
Hello everyone, Yubel Master aka 38 the Master One here, and today I'm bringing you a very special video for the Yubel community because right now really is critical mass for Phantom Nightmare hype in Japan. Yesterday the official Japanese YouTube channel released a 2-hour live stream covering all of the Yu-Gi-Oh news for this upcoming season, especially for Phantom Nightmare, which is less than a week away for the OCG. So in this video, I've broken down everything and even done some translations of my own so that by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to know for Phantom Nightmare, even if you don't speak Japanese, just because I didn't want anyone to miss out on this momentous occasion for us Yubel fans. Now I have put some timestamps on the video if you'd like to skip to any parts. However, if you watch my video from beginning to end, I would highly appreciate that because I did put a lot of effort into making this. So if you do stick around, you guys are the true MVPs. And don't worry, the stream may have been a long one, but I will only be focusing on the Phantom Nightmare information, so please enjoy. And with that intro out of the way, let's get right into it. The exact same way the stream started, with a very well presented introduction to some new cards.
Enako と不思議なアロマの庭。はい、皆さんこんばんは、Enako です。実は今回なんと新しいアロマの香りが増えるということで、特別にアロマの庭に遊びに来ちゃいました。
Wait a second. What is this cute atmosphere all of a sudden? Why is there a cute cosplayer on my screen? Aroma Garden? Is this like Aromage support or something? Huh? What's going on here? Is this really Phantom Nightmare? I mean, what happened to all the thorns and the purple, the red, the nightmare aesthetic? What happened to all the darkness, the fiends, sacred beasts? Like, this is just totally off theme. Nah, I'm just kidding. I honestly don't mind them releasing support for other themes in this set. I mean, not every card in a core set has to follow the exact same theme of the pack. Otherwise, the set would be a bit boring to pretty much everyone except for a single niche, which probably would make the product flop. And you know, besides, as much as I like my demonic waifus, I do have a side of me that does like cute things. Like, even though it's not going to be my main decks, I do quite like the look of the Valmonica stuff. And you know, the art from these cards are pretty nice. Just as you're seeing in the background right now. Enako's currently doing a little skit as she explores this garden, using the artwork from the cards that we're getting. And I must say, it looks pretty nice. So let's actually get into what the cards do, starting with Aroma Lilich Rosalina. It's a level 1 dark plant tuner, 0 attack and defense. You can only use the first and second of these cards' effects once per turn. Quick effect, you can discard this card, then target one aroma monster you control. Gain life points equal to half of its attack. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one aroma non-tuner monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except plant monsters. So the second effect is definitely good, tutoring anything from the archetype out of your deck. And the first effect, I'm not sure is that good, because you do have to discard it just to gain life points. And I mean, sure, the archetype does revolve around gaining life points, but discarding a whole card and not replacing itself is definitely not as good as the second effect. Anyway, let's move on to the next card, and it's a level 8 dark plant fusion monster, which is interesting because this will be the first fusion in the archetype, if I'm not mistaken, and it's called Aroma Lilich Magnolia. So just like all of the other cards in the archetype, they are named after flowers. It has 2600 attack and 1800 defense. It requires one aroma monster plus one plant monsters, which everything in the archetype is plants. So the first effect is, while your life points are higher than your opponent's, plant monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Nice protection there. Effect number 2, once per turn you can pay 2000 life points, banish cards on the field equal to the total number of humid winds, dried winds, and blessed winds you control. Okay, so I just had to look that up, and those 3 cards are continuous traps that exist in the archetype. So I think that's a pretty good effect. Non-targeting banish is definitely good, especially when you can potentially do more than one. The only downside is that you do require face-up trap cards, so it'll take more than a turn to set up, unless there's a way to cheat them out that I don't know about. Anyway, third effect, once per turn, if you gain life points, even during the damage step, you can make all plant monsters you currently control gain an equal amount of attack until the end of this turn. Okay, there's a nice bonus effect. Definitely a threatening card in the battle phase, as well as if you need it for removal. So not bad, but nothing too broken broken. So let's move on to the next card. Now they do have a link monster, but we're going to save that to the end. I think first we'll cover the spell card, Aroma Blend. It's a normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. Discard one card, place one Humid Winds, Dried Winds, or Blessed Winds from your hand or deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. Oh nice, so those are the continuous traps that I mentioned. There we go, we have a way of cheating them out on turn 1, which definitely makes the fusion card a lot better. So let's see the second effect here now. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon one plant fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing materials mentioned it from your hand and or field. If your life points are higher than your opponent's, you can also use plant monsters in your graveyard as material by banishing them. Okay, so this card just does two things in one go. That is definitely pretty good. It's a Miracle Fusion from the graveyard after activating its discard effect. So it's a 2-for-1, definitely a solid card. And considering how the archetype gains life points constantly, your life points are probably going to be higher than your opponent's. So this is basically just a Miracle Fusion. Pretty good. Now let's move on to the trap card, Aroma Healing. You can only use either the first or second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect is gain 1,000 life points for each aroma monster with different names you control. Okay. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one aroma monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field, then gain 500 life points. Okay, so the first effect doesn't really do much, just gains life points. But the second effect is okay, kind of reminds me of the Trap Tricks Holotea thing, but the monster does get banished when it leaves the field, unlike Holotea. So nothing really too amazing yet, but let's check out the Link monster and see how it is. And for that, I think I'll pass over to Enako, just like they did in the stream.
はーい、私が紹介するのはアロマリリスローズマリーです。こちらのカードは植物属リンク3のリンクモンスターで攻撃力2200です。召喚条件は植物属モンスター2体以上で、このカード名の1、2、3の効果はそれぞれ1ターンに1度しか使用できない。1、このカードが特殊召喚した場合に発動できる。デッキからアロマカード1枚を手札に加える。2、自分のライフポイントが回復した場合に発動できる。ダメージステップでも発動可能。手札からアロマモンスターをこのカードのリンク先となる自分フィールドに3体まで特殊召喚する。3、このカードのリンク先のモンスター1体をリリースし、フィールドのカード1枚を対象として発動できる。そのカードを除外し、自分は1000ライフポイント回復する。1から3の効果が連なって発動しやすいようになっていて強いですね。特に2の効果は大胆な展開が期待できそうです。
Thank you, Enako. So my overall thoughts on these aroma cards is that they're kinda okay, nothing really special. I think the only thing that's really amazing here is the spell card, because it does allow you to get out one of your continuous traps on turn 1, which the archetype does seem to revolve around. But if anyone is more experienced with this archetype and has anything else to say, then let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, let's move on to the next part of the live stream, where they go over the key cards of the set, which were the first cards to be revealed, the Yubel cards. Now I have covered these on my channel before, so go check out that video if you haven't. But yeah, on the stream they read out the new Yubel fusion card.
Yubel Rarities.
And they make comments about how the person who designed this is a genius because it references the anime, how because there are 12 spaces on the board right now, if you super poly the entire board, it's almost as if you fused the 12 dimensions from the anime. Yeah, I actually mentioned all of this stuff in my video as well, so it seems thoughts are unanimous that this support is amazing for Yubel, and all of us Yubel fans are super excited for when it comes out, which if anyone lives in Japan, you can get it very, very soon. 28th of October, in fact. Anyway, yeah, they do show off the rarities, which look absolutely gorgeous. The one on the right looks really, really cool, and I don't know if this is a Japan only thing or if this is something they've just started with Phantom Nightmare, but whatever it is, I need it. So after they were done showing off those rarities, they go on to a new monster for Phantom Nightmare. And the thing that's interesting about this is actually coming to Master Duel early. This is actually coming to Master Duel the 30th of October. So before we get it in the TCG, but just after they get it in the OCG. They even show off the animation. description right here. Looks pretty good. So the name is Shien no Togehime in Japanese, which means Prisoner Princess of Fruitful Flames. It's a Link 3 fire monster, but it's a fiend as well, which is interesting. It has 2700 attack, and you can see the 3 Link arrows there. The materials are only 2+ effect monsters, but it is a Link 3, so you need 3 monsters or a Link 2 or higher plus another monster. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name once per turn. The first effect locks you into only special summoning fire monsters, so this is pure fire support. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 fire monster from your graveyard. Okay, straight up. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 fire monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, special summon this card. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. It makes the mirror match for Fire Kings more wacky than it already is. Cool. But otherwise, if there's some kind of way to special summon a fire monster to your opponent's side of the field, then maybe that third effect can get some use. Otherwise, that's quite a difficult condition to set. Although then again, there is the Fire Kaiju, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, this is definitely a good card for fire decks specifically, because if you can make a Link 3, it special summons a body from the graveyard, so you can go straight into a Link 4, as long as you don't mind being locked into fire monsters. However, one thing to note is that that fire monster lock, it only applies when it's face up, so it's actually not as restrictive as you think. So definitely a solid card. We're definitely seeing fire monsters get a lot of support recently, which I think is pretty cool. So we do have one more set of support to show everyone here, but before we get onto that, I do want to remind you all to subscribe if you haven't already. This channel is the best place for everything Yubel related, with deck profiles, gameplay, tips and tricks, and everything you need to know to become a Yubel master just like I am. And during this interlude, I think this would be a perfect time to mention all of the other things that were mentioned in the stream. So we'll just quickfire them. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episodes that cover the Yubel duel are now available for free. And they also mentioned about the Tokyo Dome tournament, which is going to be a huge 25th anniversary event. They're going to have lots of different attractions. So that looks pretty cool, but unfortunately, I don't live in Japan. There's also this Neuron app for Star Chip collection. Looks like it's only limited to Japan as well. And then they also mentioned some stuff for Rush Duel, but we're not interested in Rush Duel over here because there's no Yubel in Rush Duel, so moving on. However, Duel Links does have Yubel, and maybe some of you Yubel fans do play Duel Links, because I've heard Yubel is actually a pretty strong deck in Duel Links, so that's pretty cool. They did mention a new pack coming out in Duel Links that is including Neos Kluger. So any Yubel players playing Duel Links will definitely have a fun time having a new card for their deck. I personally don't yet play Duel Links, but it's definitely something I want to get into purely because Yubel is viable. So someday for sure I'll be playing that game. Also in this Yu-Gi-Oh! Info section, they do mention the release date for Phantom Nightmare, which we all know is the 28th in Japan and the 9th of February for everywhere else. But what they do show off, which it looks absolutely amazing, is the new playmat for the set, which I think you win through some of the premiere events where you play sealed pack play using 5 packs to make a deck, and then you make a deck of a minimum 20 cards and you play purely out of what you get. It's pretty fun. I do like sealed pack play. I did it for Duelist Nexus when I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, and I got 2nd place actually. Not to brag, but I just did. Anyway, I do want to rave more about this mat because it looks absolutely amazing. Almost as if it's capturing all of the memories between Jaden and Yubel. Really doing some great fan service for us Yubel fans. They really know their target audience here, which is us, of course. So yeah, I need to get my hands on this mat. I need it! Okay, let's actually get onto the stuff you guys are probably more interested in, which is more card announcements for Phantom Nightmare. And with these cards, I think it would be better if I show you the presentation from the stream, because you've already heard me read enough cards for Phantom Nightmare. So why don't we do something different and let's watch the 5-minute presentation where they showcase a combo with these new cards with the actual voice actor from the anime. And for those of you that haven't watched the stream, you may be wondering, what are these new cards? And I'll reveal to you now that they are Raid Raptors. That's right, we're getting Raid Raptor support in this set, which I think is pretty cool. I do know that there are a few diehard Raid Raptor fans out there. I also know that it's an engine used in Dark XYZ decks, so I'm sure there are a lot of people excited for this, and the presentation was really good. So I decided to do the best I can with my Japanese skills and subtitle the presentation for you guys, and I'll be back with my thoughts at the end of the presentation. Enjoy.
貴様らのデュエルには鉄の意志も鋼の強さも感じられない。
皆さんはじめまして、遊戯王アーク5黒崎俊を演じました金城大和です。すごい。縁もゆかりまで来た。俺は手札からレイドラプターズノワール・レイニアスを通常召喚。このカードが召喚特殊召喚に成功したターン、フィールドのレイドラプターズ1体ノワール・レイニアス自身を対象とし、デッキからレベルの異なるレイドラプターズラストストリックスを手札に加える。さらに手札のレイドラプターズブルームバルチャーの効果で自身とラストストリックスを特殊召喚。そして俺はレベル4のノワール・レイニアスブルームバルチャーでオーバーレイ。冥府の猛禽よ、闇の眼力で真実を暴き、鋭き鍵爪で栄光をもぎ取れ。エクシーズ召喚飛来せよ。ランク4レイドラプターズフォースストリックス。さらに手札から速攻魔法ランクアップマジックレボリューションフォースを発動。ランク4のフォースストリックスを素材として1ランク上のレイドラプターズをエクシーズ召喚する。勇壮なる猛禽よ、華麗なる翼で力をつかみ、さらなる高みへ昇せよ。ランクアップエクシーズチェンジ現れろ。ランク5レイドラプターズブレイブストリックス。ブレイブストリックスの効果発動。素材となったフォースストリックスを取り除き、デッキから永続魔法レイドラプターズルーストをフィールドにセット。そしてこれを発動。ここでラストストリックスの効果発動。自身をリリースし、エクストラデッキからレイドラプターズエクシーズモンスター1体を守備表示で特殊召喚する。至福のハヤブサよ、逆境の中で研ぎ澄まされし爪を上げ、反逆の翼翻せ。特殊召喚現れろ。ランク4レイドラプターズライツファルコン。レイドラプターズルーストの効果発動。レイドラプターズモンスターがエクストラデッキから自分フィールドに特殊召喚された場合、デッキから速攻魔法ライズランクアップマジックレイドラプターズフォースを手札に加え、これを発動。俺はフィールドのブレイブストリックスライズファルコン墓地のフォースストリックスの3体を素材にオーバーレイ。漆黒の闇よりいでしハヤブサよ、天井無休の翼翻し、今再び反逆せよ。ライズランクアップエクシードチェンジ超越せよ。ランク13レイドラプターズライジングリベリオンファルコン。このカードがエクシーズ召喚した場合、相手フィールドのカードを全て破壊。さらにライジングリベリオンファルコンがレイドラプターズエクシーズモンスター3種類以上を素材としている場合、この効果で破壊したモンスターの元々の攻撃力の合計分のダメージを相手に与える。破壊したカオスジャイアント3体の攻撃力の合計は13500。13500のダメージで俺の勝利だ。
すげえ。
素晴らしいゲームありがとうございました。
So yeah, Kinjo-san did a really good job of just absolutely giving it his all, screaming out the lines just like he does in the recording booth, but with a lack of soundproofing, it definitely sounded way more over the top than it should have been. I like how he said at the end that even though he dealt 13,500 damage to the opponent, due to the amount of effort that he put in, he said like he burned like that many calories as well, or like he took that much damage as well. It was pretty funny, but I thought it was awesome, and that was a pretty cool combo. A little bit situational because it did require 3 cards from the hand, but it was pretty hype seeing the first rank 13 monster ever created in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they're taking liberties with previously set rules of like level limitations and stuff. As for the cards, I'll quickly go over them in case you struggle to follow along for the combo. So Noir Lanius adds a Raid Raptor of a different level when it's summoned. It also has a banish effect that can increase or decrease a level, which wasn't used in the combo. Bloom Vulture is a nice extender from the hand and can also be used from the grave graveyard as well. Obviously not on the same turn, but I think that's pretty good. And then we have the Brave Strix, a new rank 5 that gets you a Raid Raptor spell or trap. Definitely a solid card. And we have a new rank up magic, which kind of adds up the ranks of all the monsters that you use, which you can use 2 or more, but they do have to be XYZ monsters. And then in the combo, they used a rank 4, a rank 4, and a rank 5, which totals 13, bring out this new rank 13 card, which we'll get into in a second. But the continuous spell card seems pretty good as well. It seems to be a continuous like advantage generator, which is nice. Adding a spell and trap from your deck whenever you summon something from the extra deck, as well as having a graveyard shuffle then draw one. One card that wasn't used in the combo, however, was the trap card, so we'll cover that now. It's called Raid Raptor Glorious Bright in Japanese, so like Glorious Bright or something, but then they just called this Raid Raptor Barrage to localize it somehow. I don't know why. It's a normal trap. You can only use one of the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn, and only once that turn. If you control a Raid Raptor monster, target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Unless you control a Raid Raptor XYZ monster at activation, you can only target monsters. So that's pretty good. It can negate any card if you control a Raid Raptor XYZ monster, as long as the card that you're trying to negate is face-up. Otherwise, it's a monster negate, so that's a pretty solid first effect. Now, the second effect is a banish effect. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your Raid Raptor monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, nice little bonus there. A simple trap card, not bad at all. However, this rank 13 monster is hella hype. It has 4,000 attack, 3,500 defense, and as we saw in the combo, it nukes the entire opponent's field when it's summoned, and it also burns your opponent for all the monsters that were destroyed if it has 3 XYZ monsters under it. But the other 2 effects which weren't mentioned in the combo is that it's just unaffected by other card effects. Like, okay, not even your own card effects can affect it. And also you can detach 3 materials from this card and then copy a effect in your graveyard of a Raid Raptor XYZ monster. So definitely a nice bonus for a card that doesn't need any bonuses. I think the only downside to this card is how hard it is to summon, because the only way to get this out so far is through that one rank up magic spell. But we'll see, because that combo did seem pretty easy to pull off since most of the stuff can be searched. So I'm actually very interested to see how often they can just whip out this rank 13 and nuke the enemy board, how consistent this combo is, because the combo shown in the video probably isn't the only way to get this out. So yeah, we'll see. It's definitely a hype combo, and this is definitely a hype card, and we just love to see it. So yeah, that's the stream summarized for you guys, everyone. I hope you guys all enjoyed that and appreciated my scuffed translation skills. It is the first time I tried to do something like this, so I did try my best. But yeah, I personally am super hyped for these new Yubel cards. Seeing those rarities really just made me want these cards. That and the playmat, I really just can't wait, but it's like 3 months away. God, I wish I lived in Japan. Anyway, what about you guys? What was the most hype thing for you from this stream? Is it the rarities from the Yubel cards? Is it the Raid Raptor stuff? Do you want to try the Raid Raptor stuff? Do you also like the Aroma cards art? Please let me know in the comments down below, because it does help out the algorithm. And don't forget to leave a like while you're down there as well. And besides, it's fun having a conversation down there. I do like replying to all your comments, and I really appreciate the support as well. So yeah, thank you all for watching, especially those who watched from beginning to the end. I really appreciate you guys. Final reminders to subscribe as well, and I'll see you all in the next video.